All right, we'll begin with the Naira note scarcity crisis Nigerians are currently experiencing ahead of the 10-day extension for the swap of old Naira notes across Nigeria. Despite the deadline, many Nigerians are finding it hard to get access to Naira, both old and new notes. Queues plagued the ATMs throughout the week and has shown no sign of letting up. In some states, protests have taken place, especially as POS operators charge exorbitant prices for their services. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has asked Nigerians to give him 7 days to resolve the crisis caused by the scarcity of new Naira notes. Joining me now in the studio, I have political analyst and executive member, Joint Action Front, Achike Chude. Welcome to the show.
It's a pleasure, Jacinta.
All right, Achike. Nigerians are lamenting over the idea that they can't even have access to their hard-earned money. Do you think the idea of 10 days extension is even enough?
The president is going to be under immense pressure if the 10 days do not produce expected results. This is what he told them. That is even the essence of it. Because before this 10 days was communicated to Nigerians, the CBN governor had gone to see him. Obviously, the president is aware of the deep angst in the land over their inability to access their monies. And it's not a funny situation. We have seen riots and protests in some parts of the country, and that is dangerous. So obviously, he's pleading to Nigerians to give him, a chance. But what happens if, perchance, nothing meaningful is done after, 10 days? That will put a lot of pressure on him, and he would have to look for a way to clean house. Don't also forget that the governors of the APC went to meetings specifically for this, and if it was even the reason why. The government of Kano State did not even want him to visit Kano in the first instance because they said people were suffering as a result of his policy, this monetary policy, the redesigning of the Naira. So I understand he has given a marching order on the CBN to get their acts right. Obviously, they have given him assurances that within 10 days, Nigerians will begin to see a change in the process. So we hope that that happens. If it doesn't happen, like I said, the president will be under pressure to do something about it. And he has this, I don't know, a lot of people believe that he has this confidence, a certain degree of confidence in Emefiele, that Emefiele's appointment was reconfirmed by the president, that he was reappointed the second time. And in spite of so many controversies, including his incursion into the politics of Nigeria, that the president still has retained him there. But this time around, I think if there is no meaningful change, Emefiele will have a problem, I think, from the president. That's my own thinking. So whether they will be able to deliver in 10 days, ensure that the money is circulated, I'm not exactly sure. But I know that officials of the CBN have been going from bank to bank, trying to make sure that bank officials are in compliance with the directive of the CBN. We have already seen how even the banks themselves are also involved in the sabotage of this policy. How this money is able to get in the hands of a terrorist is something that is mysterious in a way, and in the hands of politicians, while the very people whose lives depend on it are not able to access this money. So this situation is absolutely unsupportable and condemnable, and we hope that within these 7 days, that Nigerians would see a difference.
All right, Achike, you recall that one of the reasons behind this Naira redesign is that it is targeted at halting the vote buying in election. And some are saying if this is so, there shouldn't even be any extension. What do you think?
Well, I think it's the president was between the devil and the deep blue sea. He was under tremendous pressure. Protests were going on in parts of the country, and these protests, if you consider the extent of anger and hunger in the land, you realize that it's a very dangerous situation. And so anything that can be done to reduce it or to eliminate it completely should be done. So I think the president had that. Don't forget that members of the National Assembly are asking for even a 1-year extension, and so many other politicians are saying it should be a continuous exercise for quite some time. So the president only gave 10 months. 10 days of extension. And so we hope that he will be able to get the job done. If he's not able to, then it might be really a problem.
All right. What do you also say to the idea of the old Naira being alongside with the new notes to fizzle out gradually? If that's your point, some are saying if it's like that, the circulation will continue. It will keep being in circulation. So, what's your stand here?
Yeah, I think there was something I missed out when the last question you asked, the issue of vote buying. I didn't address it directly. Well, we hope, from that perspective, look, as long as Nigerians are satisfied, as long as Nigerians have access to money, I'm sure most Nigerians, including myself, I do not care whether money is getting to the hands of politicians. We don't even want money to get into their hands. Let them just do their job. Let them, preach a message, of hope to the people. Let them tell the people and convince the people on why they should vote for them. Let them not, induce the people with money, because they have continued to use hunger as a weapon, to use and manipulate the people during election. So if it's just about the money, people having access to the money, I'm perfectly okay with it. But for the politicians, I think hopefully the situation should remain that way. And then I think you also asked me about
the idea of the Naira being
Well, there are people who have said that this is what happens everywhere. And of course, that the CBN had said that once the deadline is passed, that all the old currencies would no longer be legal tender. But what we have found out in other parts of the country where this kind of exercise takes place is that over a period of time, this is sustained until the old money, goes out of circulation. So you cannot exactly punish people after the deadline. And the CBN has come out actually to clarify that issue and has set some minds on, at ease by that. But I think that the target really is the politics and the politicians to ensure that they do not have access to this money during the election. And so, but again, when you say it has to be in circulation with the old money, it becomes a bit of a problem.
Right. Thank you very much for your contributions so far, Chikere.